The secret sauce to project success. Today, we're going to uncover the purpose of this thing I love that I hope you fall in love with called project management. If you're new to the channel, I go by the name of ED. For all you smart and intelligent folks out there, that just simply means Ed. I have an 8-point framework in which my goal is to unpack today's title, which is entitled today is what is the main purpose of project management? Again, what is the main purpose of project management? Listen, I'm going to attack this from really a different vantage point, meaning that I'm going to talk about the normal things, time, cost, and budget. I mean, excuse me, time, cost, scope, and all those that you already kind of know. But I'm also going to come at it from a different angle. So if you stay tuned, this is not what you normally would hear from a project manager that talk about it. So these secrets that I'm sharing with you are really truly the secrets that we talk about as project managers, and some that think about it that would love to share it but just keep it to themselves and continue to execute. Here's point number one: adopting a fearless mindset. Ooh, what does that mean? Does fearless mean just being crazy and not being professional? No. Adopting a fearless mindset is really having the ability to trust yourself, like meaning you've done the work, you've worked on your skill, on your craft, you've worked on being a better leader, you've worked on your communication style, you've worked on how you communicate out to the team, whether verbally or by written, you've worked on how you engage your stakeholders, you've done all the work. Now let's put this work to the test. And a lot of times what I see when especially new project managers that come in, they don't adapt that fearless mindset because they're afraid of what happens if this goes wrong or what happens if this goes wrong. It's gonna go wrong. So now the question is, how do we correct it once it goes wrong? Having that fearless mindset meaning is that always knowing that you can course correct. Having that, okay, you get where I'm going with that fearless whole mindset. Hey family, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and listen, you guys got me to 200. 200 subscribers, man. Much love. I really appreciate that. For those who are continually to watch and not hit subscribe button, well, I got a personal message for you. Hey, hit the subscribe button. It's not going to cost you anything. All right, let's get into point number two. Strategic thinking. What does that mean? See, as a project manager, one of the things is what we really don't really discuss about in project management, or I should say really the purpose of project management is having the ability to see the big picture and plan long-term strategies that align with what the organizational goals. Here's an actionable step for you. Regularly review the project objectives in the context of what the organization strategy is. You should know what that organization strategy is. If you do not, ask your leader, hey, what is the organizational strategy which it pertains to this project or what it pertains in general to the organization? Being able to have these organizational strategy or what the organizational strategy is, it would align you better when you are in those conflicts with stakeholders who are like, well, why are we doing this? Why do we have to be aligned and committed to this? Well, let me explain the reason why. The reason why is because it affects this area, that area. Most of the times when you run a project, I always try to find out, is this a cost type project, meaning are we saving money or are we growing revenue? Is this a resource? So I look at it from that advantage point because what happens is you can use that as a conversation with your stakeholders because a lot of times stakeholders don't even know why they're on this project. Like, yeah, they know they've been assigned, but what is the value? What is it in it for them? And we as project managers, we have to think of that. That's why it's important for project management because we can sell this better. When I say sell, I'm not talking about like being a salesman, even though you are, or a salesperson, even though you are. Point I'm trying to make is ensuring that we set the stakeholders up for success by ensuring their alignment and their commitment with the project. Point number three, I could leave this out. I'll say decisiveness versus choice. Decisiveness versus choice. What does that mean? See, a lot of times on projects, you'll have a choice to go with this option or option A or option B. But when you are decisive or you make a decision, it's either we're going with A, and if A doesn't work, we'll transition to B. But right now, this is currently where we're at. We're keeping that mindset open though to say that we're adaptable, but we're going to do everything possibly to make the best decision based on the information that we have. Here's a quick message too out there. I understand, especially if you're a new project manager, it can be challenging to make these type of decisions because again, in your mind, you're telling yourself a story to say, well, what happens if this goes wrong? Well, let me give you a fresher breath air, as they would say. If it does go wrong, what are you going to do to correct it? I said that at the beginning because the reason why I keep saying that is because we get in our way of a lot of things that, especially when we're leading projects, we will get in our own way and sabotage the project because of that concern. What's the point of having a risk register? What's the point of having an issue log? These two artifacts are supposed to help guide you. On top of that, you have stakeholders in place that's supposed to be also be that extended arm of helping you lead the project as you're moving forward. Let's move on to point number 4. Leadership and motivation. Hey, you gotta motivate that team. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wish I could tell you you could come in here and give them a bunch of tasks and say I'm out. That doesn't work that way. Not on exceptional teams. Now, if you're on a team that they don't appreciate you motivating them, they don't appreciate you having leadership, then that's probably not going to be a really good team for you because of the fact of you're there to lead, you're there to inspire, you're there to motivate. Now, when I say motivate, I'm not saying it in a cheesy type of way. I am saying setting clear expectations. I'm saying providing support. I'm saying recognizing, watch this family, achievements. That's what I'm talking about of motivate and leadership combined together. That is going to be what is a true foundation when you're leading a project of setting clear expectations, providing the necessary support, and understanding and when I say understanding and recognizing the achievements that's required. Because when you do this, more stakeholders are going to work with you because they know what they get. They know you're going to inspire them. They know that you're going to recognize their achievement. You're going to set the objective clear even if you guys have to pivot. You're still going to make a clear, conscious. And articulate out the information that you need to articulate out. Point number 5. This is something that we all should know. Time management and prioritization. What basically this is meaning is the ability, watch this family, to manage your own time and prioritize tasks effectively. I've done it many times where I didn't manage my time really well because I was managing everyone else. As I shared with you before, family, and many times when and I'm working and I'm getting better on this. I'm getting 1% better on this. And what I mean by that is I'm finally taking the mask and putting it on myself. What do you mean? Taking the mask and put it. What I mean by that, family, is that as I shared with you from the airplane example, when they give you the instructions before you take off or while you're in the air, most of the time, hopefully before you take off, they say, "Hey, in case of emergency and the mask comes down, please put it on yourself first, then attend to your neighbors." So we have to understand first, family, we have to work on our own time management. I know we're responsible for the team, but if we don't manage our own time effectively, we won't be able to effectively support the team the way they need to be supported. And so that is key. And that's something that I've worked on myself because I'll get so caught up in making sure the team is a success, which I'm responsible and accountable for, but I'm also accountable and responsible for the things that I'm required to do to make sure that the team looks good for the achievements that they've done along the way. Let's move on to point number 6, stakeholder engagement and communication. Listen, in the book behind me, that's one of the biggest things. The Magnetic, if you haven't picked it up, it's called The Magnetic Project Manager. Really great read, really for anyone that is new all the way up to experience, because there's going to be some nugget that you pull out of there that you're really going to enjoy. But stakeholder engagement and communication, I'll make it really clear and straight to the point. Keeping all stakeholders informed and involved throughout the project lifecycle. Here's an actionable step for you. Develop a communication plan that outlines how, when, where, updates are going to be disseminated out, where they're going to be dispersed out at, because this is going to be key. Because what I have is a lot of times, family, is a stakeholder be like, well, I didn't know that we had that. I didn't know that this information was over there. And you're going to be like, but we went over it and we did this to, no problem. Here, let me show you where the communication plan is, and always bring it up in your meetings, because again, always say frustration comes from the lack of understanding what the expectation is. So bring it up, periodically throughout your meeting. Meaning, if you meet, once or twice a week out of a month, let's say you meet once a week. So let's say 4 meetings you have out that month. Maybe bring it up out of two out of the 4 meetings of saying, hey guys, just want to check in on the communication plan and making sure, and just bring it up. Hey, I understand that this group of stakeholders like to be connected via Teams. This like prefer email. So constantly bringing that information up in front of your team. Point number 7, one of my favorites: message customer centric mindset. What in the Jesus take the wheel does that mean? Let me tell you what that means, family. It means prioritizing the needs and satisfaction of the end user or customer project decision and outcomes. Family, it's always unique where when you're working on a project, especially a software project. I remember a lot of my software projects, and I'll be working with the development teams, and it will always be that one that wants to add on all of these different bells and whistles. And they're like, no, we can't do that because it's going to slow down. We have a set deadline on when we're supposed to get this out. Now, if the customer wants to do that, we can sell that as a add-on. We can sell that as an upgrade. But putting all of this on here now, the customer didn't ask for that. We can do that post and mention that and say, hey, customer, this is some of the things, but don't, and I repeat, don't go in and start creating all these extra items. We know what that's called, right? Gold plating. So what I want to make sure, family, is that you always putting the customer first. You're thinking about the customer. Involve the customer in the development process as well, and use these feedback loops to be able to work on the deliverables. We sometimes call that Scrum. All right, let's move on to point number 8. Point number 8 is negotiation skills. Listen, there's a reason why project management is important is because you got to have the ability to negotiate. Negotiation, yes, that's negotiation. I'll tell you, through this craft, through this thing I love that I hope you fall in love with, called project management, being able to, I don't know why I did that really hard, but it just felt good to do it. But anyway, being able to negotiate is a really good skill to have. It's a transferable skill as well. What I mean by transferable, meaning if you decided not to do project management more and you wanted to go on a different career path, you're going to find yourself negotiating, whether it's negotiating your salary or negotiating on anything. Negotiation is a key thing, and I'm going to recommend the same book I recommended before, which was Never Split the Difference, and the author is Chris Voss. Great book if you ever want to understand about negotiation. He's a really good person to study under for the negotiation piece. Here's a bonus. These are kind of ones that we're kind of aware of, but I just want to put them out there again, just as one of those filler type feel good things. Risk appetite and management. Listen, basically being able to understand the balancing and the willingness of being able to take calculated risk versus taking a risk that doesn't provide a greater reward. So basically understanding how risk averse is this organization or this department. Are they willing to go further than what they thought? So basically breaking limited beliefs. Are they willing to do this or not? Maybe they're not yet. They haven't developed the confidence in you or the team to say, hey, maybe we do this next project. No worries. But being able to understand the company's risk appetite is going to be huge. The last and final bonus is EQ, emotional intelligence. When I think of emotional intelligence, I know so many people have so many different ways of what EQ really means. And for me, in my own definition, what EQ means to me is really the ability to manage your own emotions when people push those buttons. So you have to know those buttons. And the only way you're going to know those buttons is if someone pushes them. And And then if you really work on yourself and knowing yourself is going to be another way. So tips for that is really reflect on emotional responses that maybe you've had in the past, that's challenged you in a way, and that's going to be one of the ways. Also, just maybe ask your peers, hey, is there something that you notice that I do when someone says something to get under my skin? Is there do I make a noise? Do I say a particular comment, or do I just get quiet? Like, might be able to help you, but first it starts with you. You know yourself better than anybody. I don't care if someone's been around you for decades. You still know yourself better. So when you feel that urge, you're getting irritated and frustrated, being able to manage your own emotions so you can win at this game we call project management. Until next time, I'm out.